29,120. That is the number of abortions in Michigan in 2020 already. The specific topic of abortion is close to my heart for not only the reasons of my strong beliefs, but my own personal experience with this heart-wrenching matter. It is stated that although contraception is older, the earliest known description of abortion comes from the ancient Egyptian medical text known as the Urbis Papyrus. The first record of an abortion occurred during the Egyptian era around 1550 BC. There are a variety of references to abortion in Roman and Greek classical texts. I have heard many comments about it before, though now it does seem to be one of the biggest topics dividing our nation today. Maybe it's the topic itself, or maybe it's just simply that hate is growing. Abortion rates are calculated by the number of abortions per 1,000 women ages 14 to 55. Norma Leah Nelson McCorvey, more commonly known to some as Jane Roe, as in Roe v. Wade, was pregnant for the third time at age 21. She was advised by her friends to say that she was sexually assaulted by a group of black men. You see, in 1969, under Texas law, most abortions were prohibited. She thought she could, however, obtain a legal abortion with the false claims of assault. The case of Roe v. Wade states that the government cannot regulate a woman's decision to have an abortion before the viability of the fetus. After said time, the government cannot place regulations that favors the child's life over the mother's. The trial took 3 years, and McCorvey never attended a single trial. During this time, however, she had given birth to her third child. Later on, the child in question was given up for adoption, making this her second child to be put into the system. In an interview, she stated that she sought an abortion for the fact that she was unemployable and greatly depressed. She stated in her 1994 autobiography that she identified as a lesbian. However, in that same year, she turned her life around and became a Christian. She voiced her remorse for her part in the Roe v. Wade decision. She recognized her wrongdoing after seeing a fetal development poster in her ER office. Her exact words are as follows. "Norma," I said to myself, "they're right." I had worked with pregnant women for years. I had been through 3 pregnancies and deliveries myself. I should have known. Yet something in that poster made me lose my breath. I kept seeing the picture of that tiny 10-week-old embryo, and I just said to myself, that's a baby. It's as if blinders fell from my eyes and I could finally see the truth. That's a baby. McCorvey was later baptized on August 9, 1955, on national television. In 2004, she had hopes to overturn Roe v. Wade, but the case was later dismissed. You can read more about her journey in her book, Won by Love. Earlier in my speech, I made a comment about my personal experience with this matter. My life was going to cost the same amount as a used car. On average, a used car retails anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500. Abortions cost anywhere from $350 to $2,000. How can a human life cost less than a car? My biological mother had 5 children before she found out she was pregnant with me. She had lost them all to the system, so I guess she thought this was the easy way out. Soon after the decision was made, the realization that she wouldn't be able to conjure up enough money surfaced, and reality had finally set in. It became time for her to make the best call she has ever made in her life. This call would ensure I was able to live my life to the fullest. Her fight with abortion was lost, and her love for the unborn child won. Her aunt and uncle were on the other end of this life-saving call. Now they were more than willing to welcome this child with open arms and give him or her a loving home. However, they wanted to give their niece a chance to change her mind, to win their daughter back. I was placed in foster care for 9 months until officially she signed her waiver rights away as my mother. Personally, being adopted has never bothered me. I was welcomed into a family of 8 kids, becoming 9 of 9. Soon after, I became number 9 of 11. Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger, born Margaret Louise Higgins, was a writer, nurse, birth control activist, and sex educator. She used her platform to express her way of thinking. After her first book, Family Limitations, she was prosecuted under the Comstock Act in 1914. Even with her connections to Planned Parenthood, she drew a strict line between birth control and abortions. It's said that she was completely against abortions through the bulk of her career. Her first office in New York City was staffed by all-female doctors, and her office in Harlem was staffed with all African-American advisory councils. Now, that might not be something that makes you question her choice, so let me explain to you why I question it. In a letter to Dr. Clarice Gamble in December of 1939, Sanger voiced, "We don't want the world to know that we want to exterminate the Negro population." How could she even begin to justify those words? They are people just like you and me. Margaret Sanger, 1920, The Wickedness of Creating Large Families. The most merciful thing that the large family does for one of its infants is to kill it. How can that be merciful? As someone who grew up in a large family, I can vow that killing them is not merciful. The most merciful thing you can do for a young child is to welcome them with open arms, show them what true love is, and help them grow. God's gift to us are babies. It's not his punishment. Babies are meant to be loved, not despised. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, we will be one nation gone under. We've distorted things to the point where people believe that anyone who opposes mothers killing their babies is waging a war on women. How can we be so foolish to believe such a thing? One must be able to recognize the depravity to which we have sunken as a society when valuing a baby's life is frowned upon. Ben Carson. Today, a baby is a baby when convenient, though it is tissue or otherwise when the time is not right. A baby is a baby when a miscarriage takes place at 2, 3, or 4 months. Yet a baby is called tissue or a clump of cells when an abortion takes place at 2, 3, or 4 months. Why is that? I personally see no difference. Gianna Jessen, abortion survivor. In the short film, The Silent Scream, you can see what truly happens when an abortion takes place. In one of the freeze frames of the procedure, you can actually see the child's mouth open as if the child is screaming for help. I have personally heard that the babies can feel no pain during this. However, that's not true. The child starts moving in such a violent way, referred to as a pathetic escape for the inevitable death. The film was very graphic, so viewer discretion is advised. That image of the child's mouth open in its last attempts to save its life will forever be ingrained in my mind. I will end today with a quote from Norma Leah Nelson McCorvey. Abortion, at any point, was wrong. It was so clear, painfully